Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is the business skills for e-commerce, and the same chapter, that is chapter number 2, that is a framework of e-commerce. In the last class we have started this chapter, that is a framework of e-commerce, that is what is the structure of e-commerce, what is the framework of e-commerce, that is a chapter number 2, that is a lesson 2. In this we have studied about various topics, so let's start with the previous session, that is what we have covered in the last class. And today I'm going to continue with the same chapter, that is a framework of e-commerce, that is what is the structure of e-commerce. So first of all, let's take what we have covered in the last class. So in the last class we have started with this chapter. So these are the various topics that is included in this chapter, that is objective, introduction, information providers, functions, generic framework, building blocks, e-compatible legal and financial framework, summary, keywords, self-assessment questions and readings. Then we have discussed about chapter first topic, that is the objective, that is what is the objective of e-commerce. So e-commerce, it is a new means of carrying out business transactions through electronic means in general. That is, it is a new means, it is a new method of carrying out business transactions through electronic means in general, that is carried out in electronic means in general and through internet environment, in that is doing the business transactions electronically in general or with the use of internet environment in particularly, has improving its potential benefits and effective contribution to the socio-economic growth. That is, whenever we do the e-commerce, that is the electronic commerce, that is used as an effective and beneficial method for the socio-economic growth. As an essential part of digital economy, e-commerce plays the role as the key for us to open our doors to the 21st century. That is, whenever we use the digital economy, whenever there is we talk about the e-commerce, that means our economy becomes digital. That is a part of the digital, that is a digital economy that plays the role as a key for open to the 21st century, that is a new era of knowledge-based economy. In e-commerce there is a need to define the framework, that is there is a need, or there must be a condition to define the framework of e-commerce. So after going through this lesson, these are the various topics that is covered. Then we talked about the introduction, that is the introduction of the e-commerce. That is, e-commerce is the ability to perform transactions involving the exchange of data or goods and services between two or more parties using electronic tools and techniques. So it is the ability to perform transactions, to do the transactions involving the exchange of goods or services, involving the exchange of goods or services between two or more parties using electronic tools and techniques. That is, whenever there is a e-commerce, whenever there is a transactions between two or more parties, that is done electronically using various techniques, that is known as the e-commerce. Long employed by large businesses and financial service organizations, several factors are now converging to bring electronic commerce to a new level of utility and viability for small businesses and individuals. That is, it is a new way to do the business electronically. So we have discussed that what is the introduction, why we use the e-commerce. So the rapid growth of the internet and other online services, convenient post system, that is a point of sale system, are the various techniques that is used for the e-commerce. In the same way, there is a more competition in the market, so we need the e-commerce for the easy compatibility, or for easy understanding, or for easy transactions. Then we have talked about the information providers, that is, who are the information providers, that is divided into multiple parts. One is those that create the content, for example TV production. Then next, those that defines the form or format. Then those that provides distribution medium, that is a TV broadcasting station and cable operators. These are the various information providers that is providing the information, or that provides the information for the e-commerce. So these are the three parts. One is distribution, one is form, one is content. The next is e-commerce functions. This is also we have studied that what are the functions of e-commerce. So there are total 10 functions that is provided in order to EC to occur, that is the e-commerce to occur. So what are these functions? We have studied about these functions, that is a standard setting body, WAN service provider, data center, developer. So these are the 10 functions that is provided by the e-commerce, that is a EC. Then we talked about the e-commerce, a generic framework. That is a generic framework means a generic structure of the e-commerce. This is, it has already been discussed in chapter number 1 that e-commerce is related to execution of business transactions of electronic message devices. There have been a lot of changes in the traditional business model to incorporate advantages offered by e-commerce. That is, there are more, or there have been a lot of changes that is available, that is made, or that is incorporate, that is offered by the e-commerce. The old brick and mortar businesses are finding ways to incorporate the activities to gain advantage. That is the old method, that is a brick and mortar method businesses are nowadays outdated. So we have to find the new method to gain the advantage from the avenues opened by the e-commerce. But like in a real physical market, only those will survive that have a strong fundamental framework. So it's mandatory to define the strong fundamental framework of e-commerce before assigning any device or before using any device. Then we have discussed that what are the basic considerations that we follow while designing the framework for e-commerce. So these are the various consideration, various features that is kept in mind while taking the transactions or while doing the, or while taking the framework for e-commerce. First is interoperability. That is, e-commerce must be involved in a interoperability. That is, one function is related to another, another function is related to another, and so on till all the functions together are easy to incorporate other activities. That is the interoperability. The next, flexibility, that the e-commerce must be flexible. That is, while designing the framework, the main consideration is that there should be a flexibility in e-commerce. That is, anyone can do the transactions from any point of sale, from any point of time. Then involving latest technology, that is, e-commerce uses the latest technology, latest programming language, and the latest criteria, as well as the application, that is, the latest applications must be used for e-commerce. Then fourth one is backward integration. That is, there will be many businesses that will shift from traditional commerce to electronic commerce. These traditional business enterprises are bound to use their legacy system. What are the legacy system? That is paper checks, mainframe based settlement, payment system, EDI vans. So it is very much logical to expect that these legacy systems will not vanish overnight. That is, they have to be outdated time to time. Not is that everything is done online, so it is outdated. No, that's not possible. Then media coverage, that is, e-commerce must cover the media part, that is, it covers the media so that we can follow what is e-commerce and how it can be done. Then information intensive products, that there must be an intensive products that is available on the e-commerce. That is the class of products that is available on the NII, that are the pure information. Then next 7 point says, that is consideration, that is 7th consideration is new revenue collection methods. That is, e-commerce will need to support advanced type of revenue collection in addition to the traditional methods. That is, e-commerce also supports the new method or the advanced type of revenue collection that is used in according to the, or in addition to the traditional methods. What are the methods? That is the payment upon receipt, payment in advance, etc. Then 8th consideration is legacy system, that there must be a legacy system of the e-commerce on the e-commerce while doing the transactions. The 9th one is transaction devices, that there must be a devices that is used for making the transaction. That is, the POS is used while making the transaction, that is a point of sale payment, that is also used while making the transaction on the e-commerce. So these are the various framework consideration that we follow while doing the framework of the, or while designing the framework of e-commerce. Then we have discussed what are the activities and functions that involves in the infrastructure of the e-commerce. That is, what are the activities and the functions that is used while making the transaction over the internet. So these are the various activities and their functions. So first of all, what are the activities? Advertising, shopping, negotiating, ordering, billing, payment, distribution, receipt, settlement, accounting, customer service, information and knowledge processing. Then we have also discussed about these activities and their functionalities. That is, what is the use of these activities and what is the functionality of each activity. The specific functions associated with these activities in the electronic commerce setting as discussed below. One is advertising and shopping. This includes searching and browsing electronic directories and catalog on a network, enabling intelligent agents for various purposes on behalf of one or more many users or sellers. Buyers sending electronic requests for proposal, that is RPF, and sellers responding with various offers. Sellers advertising their products and services. Electronically navigating network access devices. We have discussed what is the advertising and what is the shopping in the electronic commerce. What is the functionality of each activity. Then we have discussed about the negotiating, that there must be a negotiation in the transactions, that is buyer and seller must elect the negotiation to for the terms of transaction. That is, they reach on the consent that is applicable or that is beneficial to both the buyers and seller. So it is a process of giving and taking relationship. Then ordering, that is the next part, that is buyers eventually issue a contractual agreement of the terms of exchange and payment. Then billing, once a seller has delivered the goods or productivity. I think we have discussed about ordering also in the last class. Now this is the today's topic, that is the billing. Now what is billing, or what is the role of this activity, that is billing. So this says once a seller has delivered goods or services, a bill is sent to the buyer. That is, once a seller has delivered or once a seller is has provided the goods and services to the buyer, bill is sent to the buyer. A bill is given to the buyer. This bill includes remittance information that should accompany the payment. That is, this bill includes the information or provides the information that should accompany the payment, that should include the payment. Sometimes a seller may require payment in advance. Sometimes there is a capability of the seller, or it's the role of the seller to acquire or require the payment in advance. Sometimes a supplier sends advance shipping notification. That is, there must be a condition that sometimes the supplier also requires or make the payment in advance. That is, a shipping notification is in advance. That is what is shipping notification, how it will be used. Sometimes a supplier sends advance shipping notification and the customer agrees to authorize payment upon confirmation of the arrival of the product. So these are the various conditions that is carried out while making the transactions over the internet. It is a part of the billing. So consumer sends advance shipping notification and the consumer agrees to authorize payment upon confirmation of arrival of the product. When the product is reached to the buyer, they are agreed to the consent. And in some cases, as with the free information example cited below, this activity is eliminated entirely. That is, nowadays this activity is not in use, this activity is not applicable while doing the transactions over the internet. Then next activity is payment and settlement. That is, once the billing has done, now the buyer or some financial intermediaries eventually sends some form of electronic payment to the seller. But remember that this sends the data, or this sends the some form of electronic payment, not in cash but in the electronic payment usually, or this could be the some form of contract or obligation such as authenticated payment instruction or digital cash. That is, the buyer send any type of cash, that may be any type of electronic payment, that may be electronic cash, digital cash, authenticated method, usually along with some remittance information to the seller. This payment may be sent for a single item on a usage basis or for multiple items or usage. That is, it can be sent, or it can be sent, payment can be sent for particular method, particular item, particular basis, usage basis of a particular or multiple items or usage. Settlement occurs when the payment and remittance information are analyzed by the seller. That is, the settlement is the stage when the payment and remittance information, that is, the payment is okay, buyers and seller agrees with the payment, are analyzed by the seller or the seller's agent and accepted as valid. When they mutually agree with each other, so at that time the settlement will take place. Then the next part is distribution and receipt. That is the next part. That is, what is the distribution function and what is the receipt function. This says either before, after or concurrent with payment, the seller arranges for delivery of the purchased goods or services to the buyer. That is, before or after concurrent with payment or making that payment, the seller arranges for delivery of purchased goods or services. That is, the seller arranges or arrange the delivery of goods and services to the buyer, and the buyer provides the seller with proof of receipt of delivery. That is, the seller provides or distributes the goods and services, that is, the purchased goods or services to the buyer, and the buyer provides the seller with proof of receipt of delivery. That is, the buyer provides the acknowledgement to the seller, yes, I got the object, I got the product. This is distribution and receipt. That is, the goods are distributed by the seller and receipts are provided by the buyer. Policies regarding customer satisfaction and return should be negotiated prior to this activity. That is, prior to this activity, that is the distribution and receipt activity, first of all there must be a negotiation among the buyers and sellers and made part of the contract between buyers and sellers. For larger, more complex orders, distribution may involve more than two parties and entail complicated distribution coordination strategies. That is, for large products, large orders, distribution may involve more than one parties and also entail or involves the complicated distribution coordination strategies. An ancillary distribution service involves acting as a fiduciary and holding goods, certificate, bonds, stock, etc. in trust. That is, there must be a relationship between the distribution and the receipt. That the seller or the sellers distribute the products and the buyers gives the receipt as a acknowledgement. That is, yes, the buyer receives the product. Then the next part is, or the next activity that is used is accounting. This is very important process, or this is very important activity that is used, that is particularly important to cooperate customer and supplier. That is important activity that is used for or important activity to incorporate the customers and suppliers. Both buyers and supplier or seller must reconcile all electronic transactions in the account receivable. That is, both the persons, that is the buyer and seller, must reconcile all electronic transactions in the accounts payable, on the accounts receivable and the accounts payable system, inventory information and the accounting systems. So this is of important activity, or this is of important part to both the customers and the suppliers. Why this is important? Because here only the accounting is done, that is the payment is done. Whenever there is a requirement, whenever there is any issues about the payment, that can be solved at this stage only. This is again the important activity. So this activity can involve third parties if the transacting businesses outsource their accounting services, that is, this can include or involve the other parties also, third parties also. If the transacting businesses outsource their accounting services. Now, the next is customer services. That is the next part. That is what is customer service? What is the activity that involves a customer service? Why we use the customer service, or what are the benefits of customer service? So, customer service entails or includes uh, providing the buyers providing the buyer with timely information as to the progress of the transaction. That is, providing the buyer or provides the information to the buyer about the progress of the transaction. That is, what is the progress of the transaction, why we are using the transaction, what is the requirement of the transaction. That is the providing the information to the buyer. Then next is customer service also handles customer requirements when transaction go over. That is, for example, if I am a customer, my requirements are not fulfilled, my transactions are going down, or goes on missing, or goes on keep dumping. So customer requirements, when transaction goes over, then the requirement of the customer service is more. That is, resolving any mistakes, that is, resolve the mistakes in form of customer service, disputes, complaints concerning product quality, delivery or payments. So these are the various benefits of the customer services. Why we use the customer services? So whenever the transaction goes wrong or transaction goes ori, that is, resolving the issues, disputes, complaints about the quality, delivery of payment. This includes managing returns and refunds, further exchanges and or repairs. That is the requirement of the customer, or the handling the requirement of the customers. The customer service is used that resolves the various mistakes, disputes and other related information that is provided by the user. Last point says providing expert advice also and assistance in the use of product and services. That the customer service also provides the assistance in the use of products and services. Customer service concern may also include providing general cash management advice. This is one of the important points. That is, whenever we talk about the customer services, customer service, that also includes providing general cash management. Cash management means how to use the cash and how to take out the cash, or how to manage the cash in a proper way, so that it can be effective method, or it can be in a effective way. That includes address foreign exchange imbalances, risk exposures, collecting delinquent payments, late fees, reprocessing products for which payment is made. So these are the various criteria, or these are the various ways, or these are the various options that is used with the customer service. What are the ways, or what are the considerations that must be including? That includes the foreign exchange imbalance, risk exposure, collecting delinquent information, payment, late fee, reprocessing the products for which the payment is long. A framework developed with all these needs and consideration in mind will form the strongest basis for powerful and useful electronic commerce infrastructure. That is, when we capture, or when we include, or when we take down the consideration of these effects, these activities along with their functions. um, so after taking the consideration of all these activities along with their function, that forms or that provides a strongest basis for a powerful and useful electronic commerce. So that provides a useful coordination, useful electronic commerce structure. So this is the e-commerce core. There are business applications, service enable infrastructure, content development, deployment, distribution infrastructure, financial issues, market access, legal and regulatory issues, network protocols and technical cultural issues. So these are the various parts of the e-commerce. So first one is e-commerce core. That core includes the business applications, service enabled infrastructure, content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. That also includes the financial issues, market access, cultural issues, network protocols and technicals, legal and regulatory issues. This is the framework of e-commerce. That is, after taking into consideration each and everything, and these consideration, or this is the framework of e-commerce. That includes the financial issues, market access, legal and regulatory issues. Financial issues includes in terms of the money, that there should be a balance amount, or there should be a cost benefit analysis. Then market access, that is capturing the market, what is the need in the market, what is the role in the market. Then legal and regulatory issues, that is there must be a legal issues, there must be a legal formalities that is used with the e-commerce, that is there must be a government rules regulation that is followed in the e-commerce. The network protocols and technical network protocols are also used, and the technical processes are also used. Then cultural issues, that is the e-commerce also includes the cultural issues that is available or that is used. Then so these are the various cost benefit analysis that is used while doing the transactions over the internet. So this e-commerce core includes the business applications, service enabled infrastructure, content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. A generic e-commerce framework can be explained into two basic parts. That is, the generic framework can be explained into two basic parts. What are the two parts in which we can define the framework for the e-commerce? The first part includes that the e-commerce core consisting of basic infrastructure. That is, this is the core of the e-commerce, that includes the basis of infrastructure or basis of e-commerce, that is the business, service, content development that will enable the e-commerce activities. So it consists the basic infrastructure that is used or that will enable or that is used to access the e-commerce activities. A five-corner web of basic issues that will ultimately shape all e-commerce efforts. A five-corner web services or a five-corner web of basic issues will ultimately shape all e-commerce efforts that is used. Now let's talk about the these different parts, or these two different parts of the e-commerce. One is e-commerce core. That is the first part. That is the e-commerce core. That is the e-commerce core follows a bottom-up approach. So there is a bottom-up approach that is used by the customers. That is a bottom-up approach, means there is a approach that follows from the bottom to the top. E-commerce core can be described as a three-layer hierarchical structure. What are the hierarchical structure? One is the business application, one is a business application, one is a rules development, one is a layers, that is a lower layers, higher layers. So the three layers starting from the lowest layers are this one. First one, there is a content development, deployment, distribution, infrastructure. Then service enabling infrastructure, then business applications. This is e-commerce core. Now what are the different layers starting from the bottom up one? First one says content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. So this layer will include all the hardware and network infrastructure that will act as physical infrastructure to enable e-commerce transactions. That is, this layer includes the hardware and the network infrastructure that will act as a physical infrastructure, that is used as a physical infrastructure to enable e-commerce transactions. That is, this is a layer, or this layer provides the network and hardware infrastructure. This will include content development infrastructure. So first of all, there is a two parts, that is a content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. So the first part is content development infrastructure. Now this includes the multimedia publishing infrastructure, multimedia storage infrastructure, multimedia deployment infrastructure. That is, this includes three parts. One is multimedia publishing infrastructure to create the multimedia content. Next is multimedia storage infrastructure to provide an efficient and organized storage for efficient and quick retrieval, development or deployment of multimedia content. Then multimedia deployment infrastructure. So this is the third part, that is used to search and retrieve the multimedia content from their storage location. That is the third part. So there are three parts in that content development infrastructure. What are the three parts? One is multimedia publishing infrastructure, then storage infrastructure, then deployment infrastructure. Now then next one is distribution infrastructure. So one is content development, that is how the content will be developed in the form of multimedia, that is the multimedia publishing infrastructure, storage infrastructure and deployment infrastructure. Then next is distribution infrastructure, that is how the product and services will be distributed among each other, that is the distribution infrastructure. That includes first one, network access device infrastructure, that is what are the network devices that is used to access the content, or that is used to access the devices. That is the next network access device infrastructure. That includes independent and internally controlled by, or that is independent and these are internally controlled by the merchants and the consumers. That is the network access device infrastructure. Then next infrastructure is infrastructure that is installed by the network service providers. This is the infrastructure that is controlled by, or that is provided by network infrastructure provider, that is used for e-commerce. So infrastructure installed by the network service providers, that includes local on-ramp service providers, national data and information carriers, third-party value-added network and other network service providers. So these are the this is the second structure, that is the infrastructure installed by network service providers. Then the next one is global information delivery network. So these are the three networks for distribution. One is the network access device infrastructure, then infrastructure installed by network service providers, then global information delivery network. That is a global information delivery network that includes submarine cables, intercontinental optical fiber cables, that is used for the delivery network, that is the fiber cables are used, twisted pair cables are used, satellite networks are used, or any other communication media like twisted pair cable, fiber optic, coaxial cable, that is used for the global communication network. Then the next one is third part is service enabling infrastructure. So we have covered only one part right now, that is the content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. Now the next is service enabling infrastructure, that is the second last part, that is the service enabling infrastructure. This layer includes all the vendors and other parties engaged in the business activities. So this layer includes all the vendors that is available and all the parties that is engaged in the business activities that facilitates or which facilitates e-commerce transaction in any fashion. That is the service enabled infrastructure. That is how to use the services or how to enable the services. Infrastructure is provided, layout is provided to make the e-commerce transactions in any fashion. The list of such businesses activities or list of such business activities may include the following. So what are the activities that involved in the service enabled services or service enabled process infrastructure? That includes first one, securing business transactions by providing hardware and software solutions. So it secures the business transactions by providing hardware and software solutions to counter both physical and logical security threats. So it provides a secure business transactions or it gives secure business transactions by providing hardware and software solutions to counter or to use both physical and logical security threats. That includes development of encryption technology, standards, development of standard and technology for restricting physical access to the e-commerce equipment. That is a secure business transaction that is made for doing the transaction in a secure way. Then second one is uh, development of secure electronic payment fund transfer system. That is the second one. Then third one is third party verification and authentication services. Then fourth one is developing standards and format for content creation, distribution and deployment. That is developing the standards and the format for content creation, distribution and deployment that is used for creating the multimedia formats, conversion software, software development kits, development of standards and protocol for data transmission and any other or other such infrastructures. So defining or developing the standards and formats for creating or for content creation. Then the next is development and deployment of technologies enables convergence of different media. That is, convergence means the combination of usage of the different media. That is a convergence of content, transmission technology and the information access devices. Now the sixth one is offline support services provided by traditional back and mortar or brick and mortar support office providers. That is, offline support services is provided by the traditional method, that is a brick and mortar support service provider. That includes the services like distribution, logistics, etc. So these are the various service enabled distribution, that is what are the services or what are the distribution or how distribution is done in a systematic way or how distribution is done in a system enabled information. That is the system enabled distribution. That is the services enabled distribution. So these are the various points how to do the service enabled distribution. Now this is the what we have covered in the framework. Now next is business applications. I think this is not covered in this book. Yeah, there is no business application in this book, but I will tell you. Yeah, this is the business applications. So business application means this layer corresponds to the real businesses. That is, this layer means the business application, that is the first layer, corresponds to the real business transactions that takes place using the digital messaging technology. That is, the first layer corresponds or uses, that is the first layer uses the network devices that is used for the corresponding for different devices. So this layer corresponds to the real business transactions that takes place using the digital messaging technologies. A few of the common business applications that can be offered online can be listed as below. So these are the few business applications that is provided or that can be offered online that are listed in below, that are given in various forms. One is online education. That is, the business application means the application areas in which we can use the e-commerce. These are the various applications, that is the usage of the e-commerce. That is how e-commerce will be used in various applications. So first one of the application that is used for the e-commerce, that is the uses of the e-commerce or application area. First one is online education and learning. That one of the important one is online education that is carried out and their learning. That is like you are studying from me, that is online education. Online learning means I am gaining or I am giving my knowledge to you, that is online learning. That is, you are a student, I am a teacher, I taught you, I am passing my learning to you and you pay out for it. That is the teaching and the learning. Then online marketing, that is next to the online marketing, we can do the online marketing. So these are the various examples of online education, that is education on demand, distance e-learning, virtual classrooms, CBT, etc. Next is only online marketing, that is marketing can also be done online, that is we can market the product or we can advertise the product online using various communication channels and promotion methods. Then online shopping, that is we can also do the shopping online using the Flipkart, using Jamong.com, any website you take for online shopping. Then e-procurement and e-purchasing, that is we can purchase the product like shopping, we can purchase the product online, that is e-procurement and e-shopping. Then online gaming, that is the games are also available online, that is the online gaming. I'm so sorry. Then online news and bulletin boards, that is the bulletin boards are available, that is also available in an online, that is the online bulletin boards that is available, that is follow the rules of the online boards. That is online news are also available, that is we can refer the yahoo.com for the current news, that is the online news. And the bulletin board, online customer feedback, that is we can provide the feedback to any topic, to any product online also. And the satisfaction surveys, that is the surveys are also doing online in nowadays. Then online research, that is we can research or we can search anything, we can search or the research on the topic online, that is the online research. Then online retailing and sales, that the retailing can also be done online, that is the online retailing, that is we can do the retailing online by passing the customers or by giving the products to the various customers or to various shopkeepers. Then online after sales and complaint redressal, that is nowadays after sales method, that is after sales the delivery is correct, taking the feedback, complaints, that is also provides the online. Till now this is provided in a manual way, but nowadays this is also provided in a online basis. Then e-auctions, that is also the next part, that is we can sell out the products online, that is the e-auction. Then online stock trading and brokering. Then online entertainment, that is we can book the tickets, we can search anything on the YouTube, we can see the pictures, movies online also. Then digital video and animation, that is the animations are also including in the e-commerce or also includes in the e-commerce, that there must be a digital video that is available, that is the digital video is available, that is the video is also available and the animation is also available. So we can use the video that is in digital form or animation that is in digital form. Then online booking services, that is the next part, that includes the ATM network, that we are using the ATMs, that is the online method. If in a meantime or if in a given time I cannot submit my password for this one, that is a banking, we cannot provide the method or we cannot use the method that is used for the online marketing. So we can also done the online banking services, that includes the ATM. So online banking services includes the ATM, that is a automatic teller machine. Then e-publishing, this is also the doing online, that is e-publishing, we can publish the things online, that is e-publishing. Then supply chain management, that is there must be a this supply chain management must also be carried out in a electronically, that is the chain should also be maintained electronically, that is the supply chain management. Then online catalogs and directories, that there must be a or there should be a online catalogs and the directories that is available. Then remote inventory management, that is we can also maintain the inventory in an online way, that is a remote inventory management. And at last there is a online knowledge and information processing, that is we can enhance the knowledge, we can provide the knowledge, that is online knowledge and information processing, that is process the information online also. So these are the various business applications, that is the application areas in which e-commerce is used, in which we can do the transactions online. So these are the various levels, these are the various layers that is used with the e-commerce framework. So this diagram is nothing but the framework of e-commerce. There are various issues like financial issues, legal and regulatory issues, what are the rules regulation, market access, network, that is how many computers are used, that is a network, rules regulation that is followed, that is a protocol, technical issues, cultural issues, that is available, that is according to the culture or not. Technical issues means it is in technical form or not, that is the technical issues. These are the various issues, and there are three layers that is available. One is business applications, one is service enabled infrastructure, one is content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. So we have covered these three. E-commerce follows the bottom up approach, that it starts with the bottom and goes to the top. So this e-commerce framework can also be explained in two basic parts. The e-commerce core consisting of basic infrastructure which will enable the e-commerce activity. A five-corner web of basic issues that ultimately shape all electronic commerce efforts. Then e-commerce core, that is follows the bottom-up approach, that uses the layers from bottom to the top. So first layer is lastmost layer, that is the content development, deployment and distribution infrastructure. That is how to develop the products and how to distribute the product. To develop an infrastructure for the content development, that is how to bring out the material for the development and also how to distribute them. So creating a framework, creating a structure for this one. So this is divided into two parts. One is the content development, one is the distribution and the deployment infrastructure. This is content development infrastructure. This is network infrastructure, that is how to develop the content and how to distribute using various networks. Then services enabled infrastructure, that is the next part, that is how to get the services or how to use the services in the e-commerce, how to develop or how to provide various services. Then at last there are business applications, that means where it is used, that is where the e-commerce is used, that is the business applications. These are the various points in which the e-commerce is used. These are the various application areas in which e-commerce is used. So in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, we will start with the topic, that is the e-commerce, that is the building blocks, that is what are the e-commerce building blocks, that is objects and object classes. So these are the two building blocks that is available in e-commerce. One is the objects, another one is objects or object classes. So these are the two building blocks. So thanks a lot everyone. That's all for today's session. Now if there is any doubts, you can ask the doubts from me, either through chat, either through online, either through by talking. Anyway you can clear the doubts, don't hesitate. So thanks a lot. So we will meet tomorrow by the concept, that is information electronic building blocks. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. Again I am saying, if there is any doubt, you can text the doubt and I will answer you. Thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.